Hi everybody, this is LanceCampeau from LanceCampeau.com, and today I'm going to be looking at the new Quiet Tone series of cymbals by Sabian. In the last few years, there's been this explosion in low-volume cymbals in the marketplace, and the Quiet Tone series over here on the drum set is one of the latest offerings. Sabian has gone a little bit of a different route here. Some of the other manufacturers are relying on bronze alloy, but the Quiet Tone series features a stainless steel alloy. Now, if you've been following my cymbal project for the last few years, you guys know that I've worked with stainless steel to make cymbals quite a bit. Now, I really like stainless steel because of one particular reason. It's a very tough, durable material that takes a beating. So if you're buying a set of practice cymbals, one of the key things you want to have is a set of cymbals that are durable and are going to last. And that's why I was particularly interested in the Quiet Tone series by Sabian. So let's get into it a little bit more closely and have a closer look at the cymbals themselves individually, and then we're going to do a sound demo and I'll wrap up with a few final thoughts. Over here on the drum set, I have the 20-inch ride on the right, the 16-inch crash above the ride, and the 18-inch crash above the 14-inch hi-hats. As you can imagine, these cymbals are quite a bit lighter because of all of the holes and missing material, and I've been asked by a lot of my subscribers if I ever plan to make low-volume cymbals, to which I answer no, and there's a very specific reason for that. If you take a closer look at the Quiet Tone cymbal here, you can see it's actually quite a sophisticated design. Most likely it's laser cut in a very particular pattern, and then it's stamped afterward. And in order to do that, you have to have some pretty precise equipment. After having played these for a little while and having made stainless steel cymbals, these cymbals definitely meet my expectations for quality. So first off, we'll start with a little in-camera audio, and afterward we'll go to a full demo, and I'll just do the hi-hats. You can hear they have a sort of a light, crisp snap to them. Out of the four cymbals that are on the drum set, I would suggest that the hi-hats are probably the weakest in terms of overall sound tonality. People who are used to playing 14-inch bronze hats will have to do some major adjustment to get used to the sound of these. But the rest of the cymbals, the crashes and the rides, really do have their own highlights. And let's take a moment here and I'll show you the 18. Just give it a little wash here. Nice tone there. You can see the lights in the studio here reflecting off the stainless steel. It looks nice. And the bell, kind of hard to argue with that. That's a pretty nice sounding bell, but for me in particular, the 16 has the nicest bell. Move to the ride. Well, wait a minute, that actually sounds pretty good too. One of the common things I've heard people say about low volume cymbals is that there's too much stick, that the sound of the stick hitting the cymbal is too strong. And there's a very simple reason for this. When you hit a normal cymbal, the volume of the cymbal masks the sound of the stick. And when you're hitting a low volume cymbal, obviously that volume of sound coming off the cymbal is not there, and what you're hearing is the actual sound of the stick quite a bit more than you would hear it normally. And that's really the only difference between regular cymbals and these low volume cymbals. So I would suggest just trying to get used to it for what it is, and there's a simple physical reason for that. And I don't think it diminishes the quality of the sound of these cymbals in any way. So before we do the sound demo, just to show you guys, I got a pair of AKGs overhead. I've got some microphones on the toms and a Audix microphone and the kick drum there. I'm going to give you the unprocessed version using just the overheads and the kick drum mic, and then I'm going to give you the full processed version with all the microphones and plugins, compression, EQ, and all of that as well. So let's get to it. Just like to take a moment to remind you guys to check out hosatech.com, who are sponsoring the cymbal project this year. I use Hosatech microphone cables on all of my videos. And to remind you to wear your hearing protection even if you're using low volume cymbals. Okay, we're going to try a couple of different things here. First off, I'm going to use the cymbals with the drums as they are, unbuffered, unmuted, just sort of loud, and you're going to hear a huge volume difference. And we're going to continue with the overheads and the kick drum for now, and we're going to go to the full produced sound afterward. Okay, now I want to show you guys one of the earliest tricks I ever learned about playing the drums. It was actually from a fellow who I bought a bass guitar from. He had this issue where he had a problem with the drums. He also played drums, and he had a problem with sound. So what he told me what to do was to throw a sheet over the entire drum set. Now, I've got low volume cymbals, so I don't need to throw a sheet over those, but I do have a blanket that I'm now going to throw over the drums just to kill some of that resonance, and we're going to switch into the full produced sound, and you guys can hear a little bit of the fun experimentation you can do with these cymbals. Here's a beat where you can actually take advantage of the sound of the stick. By sort of hitting it in between the two cymbals, it creates a third sound. And now that you can hear the stick better, you'll see what I mean in a minute. Now I'm going to do a demonstration using a sound meter. I'm going to show you the difference in volume between the Sabian Quiet Tone series and some Sabian B8 cymbals that I reworked last year for the cymbal project. The sound meter is using an A-weighted scale with a slow response curve. To keep things simple, I'm going to play the cymbals pretty hard. I'm going to do some crash riding to just try and keep the volume coming off each piece consistent. So as you can see by that demonstration, there is a huge difference in volume between a set of Quiet Tone series cymbals and some regular B8 cymbals. Upwards of 20 decibels in most cases. Now, that's really critical. If you want to have a sustained career in music, you've got to protect your hearing. If you want to keep your neighbors from calling the police, you got to get cymbals that are quiet. And the Quiet Tone series here by Sabian is definitely something I would consider for a couple of reasons. Number one is the price point. They're very competitively priced. But more importantly for me, number two is the reliability of the material itself. Having worked with stainless steel extensively now for a few years, I could tell you with firsthand experience that this material is really up to the task of being hit, knocked over, smashed consistently and repeatedly for many, many hours at a time. This stuff can really, really take it. So if you're about to make an investment in a set of quiet cymbals or low volume cymbals, I would suggest seriously taking a good look at the Quiet Tone series for its positive qualities, because I happen to think that they offer the best value for low volume cymbals in general currently. I'd like to take a moment to thank Sabian for sending me these cymbals, and don't forget to check out their new frequency reduced cymbals, FRX series that they have. I might be asking them to send me a couple of those, and I'll do a demo of those if I can. But until next time, thanks for watching. I'm LanceCampeau from LanceCampeau.com.